So I watched the sequel to Occupation, which is just out of the movies now. Sunday night. Occupation Rainfall. That's why I watched Occupation last night. And it's a lot better. It was really good, actually. I quite enjoyed it. A lot of the cast comes back. Amelia is definitely being recast, though. I don't know if that's for the better or not. I think I preferred the original Amelia, but yeah, the guy playing Matt back, and Chimera Morrison's back, and that girl playing his daughter is back, and the brother of Amelia who has a crush on the daughter, Chimera Morrison's daughter, is back. So, and yeah, I guess that other guy is back. I meant to look up who's playing the airline pilot, because she looked, not airline, but air fighter pilot, because she looked really familiar. But anyway, just a huge improvement. The film opens with them trying to find out like what this rainfall thing is, and then we jump back 7-8 hours. I think the film would have been better if we just cold opened in the middle of the battle that they jump back to 78 hours too. Like, we don't need that kind of little teaser reveal kind of thing. Ooh, like, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a really strong opening with the battle scene. Yeah, so I think the film would have been better if it just opened like that. But either there's just been a huge step up in budget. Well, I think there has. Occupation must have done well enough that they got bigger budget for this one. But also, I think it's just like a step up in skill. He's done an excellent job. It's really quite impressive. I really enjoyed it. Not a perfect film. Yeah, a lot of the CGI is still, you can see the kind of CGI-ness of it. But, it's convincing enough to tell the story, and that's really what matters. It doesn't have to totally fit. Just because you can see the strings doesn't mean you don't know what it's meant to be. So spaceships look like spaceships, fighter planes look like fighter planes, alien horsey carnivorous animals look like horsey carnivorous animals. I'm not sure what the decision was to change all the aliens to look like a bunch of different kinds of aliens, but I don't mind it. Just, yeah, I actually kind of liked that. I think it's inconsistent with the last film, but we saw so little of them, I guess it doesn't matter. But all the ones we did see in Occupation all looked the same. But so many of these just look different. So, that's a kind of little bugbear, but at the same time, it's another excuse to have different looking aliens. So I don't blame the guy for that. I really liked the introduction of some new characters, like Steve, and I don't remember their name, but he's played by Ken Chong, the guy from Community and Hangover, you might know him from. I thought they were a great bit of comedy in the back half of the film, so I really liked them. I like the kind of story of these kind of missions going off in different ways. You know, a couple of guys had to go off and find out what this Rainfall thing is that the aliens are after. The other guys are all trying to protect the survivors. And, so you got like two parallel stories going, and yeah, they were good. I enjoyed it. What I didn't like was it became pretty obvious about 5 or 10 minutes before the end that they weren't going to actually wrap this up, and they were just setting up a sequel. I don't mind if your film is chapter 1, but I want to know that going in. I don't mind going to see multi-part stories, but I want to know going in that I'm not going to have the resolution at the end that I'm after. So that annoyed me and did decrease my score of the film if I was giving it a score. So yeah, filmmakers, don't do that in future, please. It's annoying. Otherwise, like I said, I really liked it. Last night I watched 7 Psychopaths, and I actually already just did a video straight after watching it, but it was a video just full of me staring off into space as I tried to consolidate my thoughts. So I thought I'd just do it again with hopefully a lot less pauses. So 7 Psychopaths, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you do. It's a movie about a screenwriter who is stuck. He's got a title for a movie, but he actually doesn't have any real idea of what it is. And that title of the movie is 7 Psychopaths. So he's got a friend who's trying to help him out. But life gets complicated along the way as he gets involved with his friend's criminal activity just by association. You know, it's not actually getting involved, but due to proximity, life gets complicated. Yeah, and his friend's trying to just help him out, give him ideas and things like that. So it goes from there pretty much, basically. So Colin Farrell is playing the screenwriter. Sam Rockwell is his friend. Christopher Walken is Sam Rockwell's partner. Tom Waits is in there. Who else? Woody Harrelson. I think there's certain people who, if they're in a film, I think that film is just going to be worth checking out. Woody Harrelson is one of those people for me. Like, maybe early in career, maybe made some bump choices, but I like every choice he's made recently that I can think of has been a good film. So yeah, I think he's one of those kind of guys who is an indicator of quality. So the reason for all my pauses as I contemplated this movie last night was just because of the amazing tone and balancing act this film has. Like, it's a kind of crazy, over the top action film in parts. It's a straight up comedy, but it's also got these incredibly poignant and moving emotional moments throughout the film, and kind of like even the last scene, which is kind of just in the credits, is just kind of has an emotional punch, which just kind of leaves me sitting there silently contemplating life in the universe and everything. It's just really excellent. I'm sure the film has weaknesses. Like, it's not my favorite Sam Rockwell performance. But I mean, it works in the film. But it's an odd choice. But that's Sam Rockwell for you. And Colin Farrell, like, it's not his greatest role. It's nice to hear him just doing it in his normal Irish accent. But yeah, he's still good. But the stuff between Christopher Walken and whoever the actress is, I'm not sure, who plays his wife, like, that stuff is top shelf. That's just great. Christopher Walken, and she's wonderful. You just feel kind of the love between them. Tom Waits' character is just awesome. I really feel the kind of angst and just the regret in his role. It's so good. So just lots of great performances. Kind of the Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell, a little cartoonish maybe, but you know, whatever. It's a great film, and really, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. Okay. So Tuesday night, I went to see Wrong Turn. I actually did a video on the way home, but must have run out of space on my phone because it cut off halfway through. But that's all right. You didn't miss much from that. It was just rambling, basically just going through the whole plot of the movie, because I probably didn't have all that much to say about it. So Wrong Turn, new horror film. In all the advertising, it's called Wrong Turn on Letterboxd, and I haven't checked IMDb, but on Letterboxd it's called Wrong Turn. But actually on the screen, it's Wrong Turn Foundation. So Wrong Turn was a film, came out ages ago. I can't remember if I saw it. I imagine I did. I think it was released at the cinemas here in Australia, so I imagine I saw it. But it's had 4 sequels, I think, since then. So rather than make Wrong Turn 6, they've just kind of gone with Wrong Turn, and in the advertising, not actually mentioning that it's Wrong Turn Foundation, I guess, so that people aren't put off by sequelitis. I mean, it's got nothing to do with any of the original cast, as far as I know. But like I said, I can't remember the original Wrong Turn. But this, you know, it's a basic people lost in the woods and being hunted by hillbillies kind of film. And so, like, it's not bad. Everyone's doing a good job in it. But it's nothing we haven't seen before. And it's not until kind of 3/4 of the way through the film or so that I actually think it brings something new to the table, or made it worth watching for me. Up until then, like, it'd been fine. I didn't mind, you know, the whole going through the woods and kind of getting picked off one by one kind of thing that was happening. But where it starts to get interesting is it's not just like inbred hillbillies. It's actually this, I guess, almost cult of people who've cut themselves off, like from 1849. They set themselves apart, and we're going to call themselves the Foundation, and they're going to be the foundation of a new America once America is finished tearing itself apart. Anyway, so they've been there for a while, and I guess they're still waiting. But it's interesting, yeah, that kind of society. It's not just inbred hillbillies, and they've got this, you know, skewered sense of justice, which, you know, doesn't hold up considering the fact of all the innocent people they've killed along the way. But yeah, that's just there to get the story going. Yeah, I will say this about this story, the plot, like it actually opens with the father looking for his daughter, and then it jumps back the 6 weeks to see what happened to them. But then the film picks up with the father kind of coming to the foundation where his daughter still is, and things kind of spiral out from there, and that's kind of where it got my interest a bit more. I like the ending of the film. I like how it's playing with me a bit. Because, you know, it could be the typical horror. Well, it could end either one or two ways. It could be kind of the downbeat ending where it doesn't turn out right for the girl, or it could be the ending where no, she actually survives and succeeds and comes out on top. And either ending, I guess, is fine. But it does, the way it does end, I'm quite happy with. I liked that ending. Yeah, I won't go through the whole plot. I guess all I can really say is, you know, the horror elements of it are pretty good. Like, it's not going to be a top tier horror. It's not necessarily something I'm going to really recommend or come back to again. Mostly because it is just stuff we've seen before. But like when the father and his daughter are trying to escape the foundation, that's when I thought the film really kicked into proper horror gear, and that's when I felt the tension in the movie, being chased through the woods at night and stuff. I thought that was quite good, and like I said, the ending as well, the bits that are real and the bits that aren't real. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. So yeah, if you're a horror film fan, you know, there's nothing new here. But if you're not a horror fan, then you're probably not going to see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't regret seeing it. So I just watched a film called Cemetery of Terror, or Cementerios de Terror in Spanish. It's a Mexican horror film from 1986. Yeah, so it's just came from the Vinegar Syndrome bundle. So it's not one that I'd picked out. It was just came in the mail because I just get that subscription. That's neither here nor there. So this is a film that's kind of 50-50. There's a lot to like about it, but there's a lot I had to slog through to get to the bits that were good. I thought I was in for a good film, like within the first minute or so. Lady's getting chased by a killer, and you know, we just see a close-up of his hand, and it's this kind of malformed latex thing with sharp kind of claws for nails kind of thing that he slashes his victims with to kill them. And so I liked that. And go, all right, now we're in for a good film. But then so much of the setup is just characters I have no interest in being with. Like, I've lost all patience with entitled men, just trying to get what they want, and the women who put up with it as well, like just walk away. You know, just, you don't have to accept that kind of behavior. Walk away. And dudes, just like, these guys lie to their girlfriends about a party to bring them to this abandoned house. And then when the girls are upset about it, the guys are going, oh, why are you upset? And it's just, you pricks. I don't want to spend time with people like this. So that was annoying. Eventually though, they all die, and that's when the film gets good. So, but there's also these kid characters. It's Halloween night, and there's these 5 kids going off to a cemetery as a kind of, Halloween challenge to themselves. And it's kind of like tonally a bit weird, because with these kids, it's kind of like a kids film, like a Scooby-Doo cartoon almost, I like these kids, but the tone seems a bit odd, having this kids movie in the middle of this kind of gory horror film. Yeah, because the gore is pretty good, and it gets kind of nice and weird at the end. Kind of bits that reminded me a little of kind of Nightmare on Elm Street kind of stuff, or Fulci zombie kind of stuff. Yeah, so that kind of stuff was good. So if you're watching it, I recommend just fast forwarding it until 45 minutes into the film. You don't miss anything. Yeah. But the last part of it is pretty solid, pretty fun. So Friday night I watched Terra, Japanese sci-fi film directed by Takashi Miike. Based on a bit of a hit Japanese manga comic. Yeah, I quite liked it. Its basic story is far in the future, 500 years or so in the future, trying to colonize Mars. We sent up some moss and some cockroaches there to help terraform the planet, and so they've been kind of working away, and apparently there's a roach problem on Mars, and so we send a crew of criminals who kind of, given the choice of do time for your crime or go to Mars and earn some money, to go up and take care of the roach problem. But it turns out the roaches have evolved into these giant, I don't know, 2.5 meter tall, 2-legged kind of humanoids. And yeah, they're strong and violent, and put up a bit more of a battle than a normal cockroach would. So that's kind of your basic setup, and it's a good fun film. It kept, adding little plot developments along the way, so we weren't 100% sure of what was always going to be happening. Though, I mean, some of it is fairly obvious, like when the character says, oh, don't worry, I'll protect you from the little cockroaches, you pretty much know that person's going to die within the next couple of minutes. But, even within that, there's still a twist coming, which you kind of suspected was going to happen, but yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I guess my only complaint is I didn't particularly like the start where we kind of start up in the spaceship and then have a flashback to kind of our main characters, and then jump back, and then kind of jump back again to a different part before that. I'd rather just quickly opened with our main characters doing the crime, getting the offer, ending up on the ship. Yeah, for me that kind of jumping back and forth doesn't work anymore. I'm just over it. It's so I don't mind if we did that for other characters in that. Like, I didn't want to spend the first half of the film just setting up everybody's character, but I feel like it would have worked better just with this kind of crime, options, ship, and then meet the other characters and have flashbacks as we go along appropriately. But whatever. I really liked it. It was setting up for a sequel, but it hasn't done well enough. Kind of, I don't know if it was a bomb, but it certainly didn't do well enough to do well at the cinema. So unfortunately, we're not going to get the sequel. It's disappointing, but yeah, I liked it. I think, yeah, I recommend it. I think most people would probably get something out of it. I think it's got rewatchability, but maybe that's just because I like that kind of genre of Japanese film of people in makeup, in costumes, fighting, you know, kind of, oh yeah, kind of your Bio Booster MacGyver or your kind of Power Rangers villains kind of looking things, or that kind of, I can't remember the word for that genre, but that kind of thing I really like. So perhaps your mileage may vary on that, but even so, I think there's still a pretty fun film and most people will enjoy it. What do I know? So Saturday night I watched Battle Creek Brawl, also known as The Big Brawl. Jackie Chan's first attempt to break into US market. This is a film which the first time I saw it I wasn't impressed by it. Yeah, whatever made Jackie Chan just wasn't as obvious in this film. It's like after this they started making Project A and Police Story. And those are kind of the films where, you know, he really stepped up his game. But on subsequent viewings, each time I've enjoyed it more. Maybe because, I can't remember, I think there's a Hong Kong version, a US version, and the Hong Kong version has, you know, more martial arts. And so I think that's probably what I've seen since the original time I watched it. I watched the 88 films Blu-ray release this time. And yeah, it's pretty solid. So it's set in like, oh, I don't know, 1930s, 1920s. And Jackie Chan is in the States. Got this white girlfriend, which is kind of unusual to see, especially back in 1980. I think this is made. Don't often see Jackie in a kind of romantic role. I mean, guess he's got May in those Police Story films, but he's not very romantic. No, he's always trying to be romantic in his films. I just don't think he's very successful at it. Anyway, yeah, so he's got a girlfriend. His father runs a restaurant, and, you know, the mafia are asking for protection money, and Jackie Chan doesn't want to necessarily kind of work for his father. He just wants to practice kung fu and certainly doesn't want to pay protection money to the mafia, so he'll beat them up. Which brings him to the attention of a different mafia boss, or no, a mafia boss who wants him to fight in this no holds barred fight in Battle Creek, a city in Texas. So he kidnaps Jackie Chan's brother's fiance, who just travelled from China, to make Jackie Chan fight for him in this fight. And there's a little bit of double crossing going on and stuff, and it's actually not a bad film. I think it's directed by Robert Klaus, who directed Bruce Lee's American film Enter the Dragon as well. And like, he's not bad. He's workmanlike. He's got some nice shots in there, but yeah, it doesn't have the energy of a Hong Kong film. But it's not bad, actually. Like I said, it's grown on me on subsequent viewings. Yeah, like Jackie's choreography for the fights is pretty decent. I'm not sure if Jackie was the choreographer for it, or if they had someone else come in. I don't remember seeing any names in the credits, but yeah, it's pretty good. And there are some pretty decent shots, not necessarily with the fighting. They're all fairly standard, but the moves are visible, which is a lot better than some other films. But yeah, he moves the camera around and gets some good shots and stuff. So it's not bad. It's pretty good. The thing which I guess kind of makes me scratch my head about it the most is the score by Lalo Schifrin, who's, he did Enter the Dragon. I think that's a really pretty good score. I quite like that. But this one, it's got this weird kind of whistling bop kind of thing. Yeah. Which doesn't quite work with the film for me. But as the film progresses, I think the score gets better. And there might even be a part where elements of that kind of opening theme are used effectively, but it's a weird choice, I think. Yeah. But anyway, thumbs up. I think it's pretty good. I don't. Yeah, I won't mind rewatching it in the future. It's but it's certainly not going to be a favorite Jackie Chan. Wouldn't necessarily make top 10. Don't know. Yeah.